Well, with me now is social media specialist Helen Reynolds. Thanks for coming in. Is there any real evidence to suggest there is an impact, positive or negative, on people's well-being, or is it just too early to say?
There's been quite a lot of research on this, and a lot of it's inconclusive, but some of it is contradictory as well. And I think sometimes it shows that it's positive and negative on our well-being generally, and I think that's quite reflective of the reality that it can be both positive and negative dependent on how we use it.
I mean, some people say it's boast, but people go on there and say how wonderful their lives are. You're probably unlikely to go on there and say I'm miserable. And that can be very demoralising for people sat at home who think perhaps that their lives are not as good as they should be, particularly teenagers or people who are perhaps confused.
I think so, yeah, but we all do it. And I think it's more about kind of recognising the fact that a lot of us put that positive stuff out there because it's going to be online forever, and we want to present that good side of our lives in front of the world. And
even if it's not true?
Well, perhaps even if it's not true, but we all put on a facade when we step out the door, and we all try and do our best. And I think it's just remembering that we're all human. We just don't want to necessarily share all of those negative things.
How can we ensure that we are kind of using it responsibly?
I think the main thing for responsible use is to remember not to compare your inner feelings with someone else's presentation of their life, and to make the most of it. It's a brilliant tool for connecting you when you might feel isolated. If you have interests that you don't share with people that you know, you can connect with people online doing that. And it's just about trying to be as positive as possible and use your noggin, really, and remember that everyone's different and we're all human, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I suppose if you are lonely, then it can be, or perhaps difficult to get out of the house. It could be a real way of contacting the outside world.
Absolutely, and particularly if you have issues with anxiety or depression, making that first step can be really hard. And sometimes if you join a Facebook group or you find a support group online, then you take those steps that maybe make it a little bit easier, and you don't even have to say who you are. You can be anonymous when you have conversations online in certain areas. So it's a good way of breaking some taboos and maybe sharing your stories and hearing other people's stories.
Okay, fascinating subject. Helen, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.